Welcome to Polymechanos, where you learn new things. Before we continue, remember to like, share, and subscribe. A grand expedition through time, the English alphabet. Welcome to our journey, a quest that takes us back through the mists of time. Our destination? The very building blocks of the language we use every day, the English alphabet. Prepare to delve into the fascinating origins of each of the 26 letters, each one a survivor of a remarkable journey through ancient civilizations and evolving sounds. So join me as we embark on this grand expedition through time and unlock the secrets of the English alphabet. A, the first whisper. Our adventure begins with A, echoing with the whispers of antiquity. Its story starts carved into stone, as the Phoenician aleph, representing the head of an ox, a symbol of power. Carried by traders across the Mediterranean, aleph was adopted by the Greeks as alpha, its form slowly shifting. Then, embraced by the Romans, it completed its transformation into the A we know today. B, from house to book. Our next chapter brings us to B, a letter that shelters a story of humble beginnings. Its ancestor, the Phoenician Beth, meaning house, was depicted as a simple dwelling with an open door. As Beth journeyed westward, it was embraced by the Greeks, becoming Beta. Finally, the Romans streamlined its form, bestowing upon us the B we use today. C, a fork in the road. C, with its dual personality, represents both a Hardic and a softer sound. Its roots lie in the Phoenician gimel, meaning camel, its shape echoing the animal's distinctive hump. Adopted by the Greeks, gimel became gamma, retaining its harder sound. The Romans adapted gamma, creating C to represent both the G and K sounds, later adding a tail to form G. Chapter 4D, the doorway to sound. The letter D, a sturdy consonant, takes us back to the Phoenician dalet, meaning door. This ancient glyph, resembling a simple doorway, represents both a physical and metaphorical passage. As trade routes spread outward, so did dalet, finding a home among the Greeks as delta. The Romans adopted D with minimal alteration, preserving its essential form and sound across millennia. Chapter 5, E, a cry carried on the wind. E, the most common letter in the English language, began its journey as the Phoenician he, representing a human cry. The Greeks adopted it as epsilon, its form evolving over time. The Romans, recognizing its fundamental role in communication, adopted E with little modification, ensuring its enduring presence in our alphabet. Chapter 6F, from hook to phoneme. The letter F, with its sharp sound and distinctive form, has a surprisingly convoluted past. Its origins lie in the Phoenician wa, which originally represented a hook or staff. The Etruscans adapted it to represent the F sound, which the Romans then adopted, giving us the F we use today. G, with its soft guttural sound, is a relative latecomer to the alphabetic party. Roman scribes, ever the innovators, added a small stroke to C, creating G. This minor alteration had a major impact, allowing for greater precision in written Latin. H, the quietest of letters, holds a surprisingly prominent place in the history of our alphabet. It began as the Phoenician heth, representing a fence or enclosure. The Greeks borrowed it as eta, using it to represent a long vowel sound. The Romans recognized its potential to represent the aspirated H sound, a subtle but important distinction in spoken language. I, the slender vowel, often overlooked but ever present, traces its lineage back to the Phoenician yod. The Greeks adopted it as iota, using it to represent a vowel sound. Its simplicity and versatility made it a cornerstone of the Greek language. The Romans embraced I with minimal modification. Chapter 10, J, a late bloomer. J, with its jaunty youthful energy, is a relative newcomer to the alphabet. For centuries it was simply a variation of I, used interchangeably. It wasn't until the Middle Ages that J began to assert its independence. Chapter 11, K, a sound endures. K, with its strong guttural sound, has a long and fascinating history. It originated from the Phoenician kaf, meaning palm of the hand. The Greeks adopted it as kappa, preserving its sound and basic form. The Romans adopted K, though its use was often overshadowed by chi. Chapter 12. L, a lash of sound. L, a liquid consonant that flows effortlessly off the tongue, has its roots in the Phoenician lamed, meaning ox goad. The Greeks borrowed lamed as lambda, its angular form echoing the shape of the ox goad. The Romans adopted it with only minor alterations, ensuring its enduring presence in our alphabet. M, a humming, resonant sound originated as the Phoenician mem, meaning water. The Greeks adopted it as mu, preserving its association with water and its fundamental sound. The Romans embraced them with minimal alteration. N, a nasal consonant with a sinuous quality, can be traced back to the Phoenician nun, meaning snake. The Greeks borrowed it as nu, retaining its association with the serpent and its characteristic sound. The Romans adopted it with minimal changes, ensuring its enduring presence in our alphabet. O, the open vowel, a sound common to languages across the globe, began its journey as the Phoenician ayin, meaning I. The Greeks adapted it as omicron, using it to represent a short vowel sound. The Romans adopted O with little modification, ensuring its enduring presence in our alphabet. P, with its sharp, percussive sound, originated from the Phoenician pe, meaning mouth. The Greeks adopted it as pi, preserving its association with speech and its distinctive sound. The Romans embraced p with minimal alteration. Q, the quirky consonant always seen with its companion, has a unique history. It originated from the Phoenician kof, meaning monkey. The Greeks had no use for kof, but the Romans saw its potential. They adapted it to represent the W sound, often found in Latin, giving us the Q we know today. R, a rolling, vibrant sound, has its roots in the Phoenician resh, meaning head. The Greeks borrowed it as ro, its form evolving but retaining a resemblance to its Phoenician ancestor. The Romans adopted R with only minor alterations. S, a hissing, sibilant sound, began its journey as the Phoenician shin, meaning tooth. The Greeks adopted it as sigma, its form evolving but retaining its essential angularity. The Romans embraced S with minor modifications. T, a sharp, decisive sound, originated from the Phoenician taw, meaning mark. The Greeks adopted it as tau, preserving its association with marking and its fundamental sound. The Romans embraced T with minimal alteration. U, a rounded, resonant vowel, has a shared history with its consonantal cousin, V. Both originated from the Phoenician wa, which represented a hook or staff. The Romans initially used V to represent both the W and U sounds. By the Middle Ages, U had emerged as a distinct letter, its rounded form reflecting its vowel sound. In Chapter 22, V, a split in the family. V, with its vibrant buzzing sound, shares its ancestry with U. The Romans initially used V to represent both the U and U sounds. However, as Latin evolved, so did the need for greater phonetic precision. By the Middle Ages, Phoebe had taken on its distinctive role as a consonant, its angular form reflecting its sharper sound. Chapter 23, W, a double take. W, a letter that looks like a W for a reason, is a relatively late addition to the alphabet. It emerged during the Middle Ages, arising from the need to represent the Germanic U sound, which did not exist in Latin. Scribes began writing two U's together to represent this new sound, gradually evolving into the distinct letter we know as wo. X, with its sharp crisscrossing form, has a fascinatingly complex history. It originated from the Greek chi, representing the sound deck. The Romans borrowed chi but adapted its sound to represent ks. Over time, its use evolved, and it came to represent a variety of sounds, including this sound in some words. Yi, a letter that can function as both a vowel and a consonant, has its origins in the Greek upsilon. The Romans adopted upsilon to represent the sound in Greek loanwords. Its use gradually expanded to include native English words, cementing its place in our alphabet. Our alphabetic adventure culminates with Z, a letter that has traveled a long and winding road. It originated from the Phoenician zayin, meaning weapon. The Greeks adopted it as zeta, but its position in the alphabet and its sound vary. The Romans placed Z at the end of their alphabet, where it has remained ever since. And so, we reach the end of our journey through the fascinating history of the English alphabet. From the ox-headed aleph to the weapon-like zayin, we have traced the lineage of each letter, uncovering its hidden stories and witnessing its evolution across time and cultures. These 26 letters, once simple pictograms, have become the building blocks of a vast system of communication. They have given voice to countless stories, shaping the course of history and human thought. Thank you for joining me on this extraordinary adventure. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the world of language and history.